All right, so as best as I can tell, things started going wrong in July of 2020. June was fantastic. We had gone on a mini vacation with our kid and his buddy. They hung out with us and we had a fantastic time. It was excellent. But when July rolled around, we were experiencing problems, spats over trivial matters, her lack of interest in intimacy, and my interest in her day. However, her lack of interest in me extended to long periods in the bathroom, as well as bouts of tension. As July unfolded, August became more tense, and she even tried to pretend as though everything was okay. She showed me lingerie and told me it was for my birthday. When my birthday arrived, she got me a couple of albums, but nothing else. I had a rough day at work, and she reportedly had one as well. We simply ended up cooking and hanging out together. I assumed it was because it was a work day and anything she offered but did not seem to be present. We eventually had a couple of large disagreements in September, and after one of them, she begged for some alone time. I thought this was suspicious, and I was devastated because I feared our marriage was dissolving. It turns out I was correct. I grabbed the dogs and went to spend the night with my brother and his family. I returned home the next day. She had mentioned she wanted to go out with her friends before I arrived, and I never prevented her from doing so. I arrived home at 12 p.m. She arrived home at 6 p.m. I saw her and told her how delighted I was to see her. However, she mumbled something about the month being horrible, and that week had been particularly bad. She wasn't kissing me. She was unpleasant, snarky, and downright cruel. I kept requesting that she speak with me and tell me what's going on. I realized something wasn't quite right, and I wanted us to be all right. An acquaintance, now a dear friend, noticed me at work and expressed worry. I told him how much I love my wife. We've been dating for 8.5 years and married for 1.5 years, and how I'm at a loss for what to do. He suggested marital therapy and shared that he had gone through something similar. He also recommended I obtain the 5 love languages, plus another one that I can't think of right now. I began researching right away. I realized that I had been prioritizing my job. I run my own company with my brother, and since COVID, business has been growing, and we've been overloaded. But I never stopped trying to love or be personal in discussions and physically with her. She seemed healed the day I went home, and I took care of her the following morning. While she was getting ready, I asked her gently and respectfully if we could chat for a few minutes before she departed. I told her everything I learned from the book I read the night before, how I felt I had been inattentive, how much I loved her, and how we should go to marital therapy to try to heal what we have, since we love each other and have our kid. Something I said must have sparked something in her because she burst into tears and started repeating that I would love her even after she told me to simply be honest with her. She acknowledged that she had cheated on me the previous weekend when she said she was going to see her friends. I was taken aback, but I loved my wife, my marriage, and my kid, so I pretended to be a fool and told her that everything was all right and that I could forgive her, but she had to be absolutely honest about everything. She then remained silent, no names, no details, only that she had been chatting with this person referred to as AP, since Julian had been having an emotional affair with him until that day in September. How am I supposed to trust her? I don't think so. I told her that she had made a mockery of our marriage and our vows. This happened on a Thursday. I attempted to talk to her that night, but she refused and offered little information. She claimed she never promised to speak about it, but she told AP that she had informed me about it. It's the same thing every Friday. I'm dry heaving, haven't slept, and feel miserable, furious, and wrecked on the inside. Eventually, Saturday arrives and my brother, knowing how much of a disaster I am, encourages me to remain at home and deal with whatever is going on. She gets up and goes to the gym while I'm a disaster. I phoned my father, who was the cheater in their marriage, but my mother and him worked it out and had been married for 38 years and asked for his advice. He tells me it wasn't a mistake, that she understood precisely what she was doing and that she has to make a decision. If she doesn't, It tells you all you need to know. I gather myself because I am a wreck. I tidy the home and make sure that my kid is well cared for. Then I head down to our apartment gym and tell her she has to come down and speak to me when she's finished. Half an hour later, she appears, and I gently inform her that she must choose between our family and marriage or AP. I'm not sure is all I get, and she begs for some time. At this moment, I had made up my mind and wanted to test the situation, and I told her that I will accept her in my life on the condition that she does not contact or see him. She accepts and goes for a 2-hour run. I can track her whereabouts using an app. She returns, finally discovers that I have cleaned the place, and when I ask her what she wants, she says, "I don't know." When I push, she says it's over. I say, "All right," and even though I'm weeping, I take a duffel bag and stuff it with clothes. She starts screaming because I'm truly going. She thought that I was bluffing. I kiss my kid, tell him I'm going to remain with his uncles for a little while, and he's okay since he's occupied by video games. I tell her I'll be back in the morning with the rest of my belongings and leave. The following morning, I arrive there at 6 a.m. I take trash bags and go into our bedroom, into the bathroom/closet, and begin stuffing everything that belongs to me into them. She sits up in bed crying and simply stares at me. When she asks what I'm doing, I inform her that she has made her choice and I need to do what I have to do. She begins weeping. My heart is shattered, but it also longs for my wife. Again, I crawl into bed with her, embrace her, and kiss her for half an hour like a fool. I tell her that it doesn't have to be this way, but she needs to be honest. She remains silent. So, I'm enraged and shout at her that it's all for nothing. I pack my belongings and inform her that my father and brother are 5 minutes away at the cafe, waiting for my call to come and assist me with the heavier items. It's 11 o'clock in the morning at this point, and I'd already packed everything. She inquires as to what we intend to tell our kid. I intend to tell him the truth that his mother has a loose character, but that would have broken his heart. So, we go wake him up and make up a phony story about communication failing. She claims she doesn't want to visit my family. I don't blame her. She's embarrassed. She brings our kid shopping, and I can sense he's a bit out of sorts and bewildered. I summon my father and brother who arrive. We gather my 3 televisions and all of the equipment. I left my kid, all of his wonderful things. I love him, and none of this is his fault. Before I leave, she texts me not to go and to wait for her and our son. I wait, and the house now seems to have been looted. Then she steps in. She advises me not to go. Also, our son threw a display over in rage and says he hopes we could still be a family. I make a bad face at her and tell her that, of course he does, and that's what I want. But what the heck does she want? I'll ask her again. I'm not sure she responded. There's no reason for me to remain here. I force her to inform her parents since they would be outraged if they found out via our son. The first week of October is coming up and I'm trying to keep our youngster on track. I show up for him to take him to school and cook him breakfast, but I also take him to his maternal grandparents' place on certain mornings when I have to be at work early. When they ask what's going on, I tell them everything. I tell them I want us to solve things, but she insists on her stupid. Her father is upset and sad for me. She's messaging me about how much she despises herself and how she can't believe she did all of this while still chatting with AP. She even goes so far as to ask if we may reconcile, and I remind her that she knows what she must do if she wants me back. During that week, I picked up my kid from practice and drove him home. He wants to show me something, and I agree since I adore him, and we spend an hour in his room together. When I go into the living room, she's a mess. She invites me to sit with her and draws near to me, wrapping her arms around me. I nearly give in and get up, saying that I'm not going to do this if she's still talking to or involved with this man. She claims she's finished it. Suddenly the phone rings, a different ring, and I can see she's scared on the inside. He's been phoning her all day, she claims, since she terminated it. I look her in the eyes and ask her to show me where she put a stop to it. She begins to weep and refuses. I got my answer. Then I snatch the phone and start reading her messages. In some, she claimed how AP made her feel amazing and I failed at it. I then handed the phone back and left. Throughout the week, I returned to take my kid to school and even prepare meals for him to keep in the fridge. She's not washing laundry and I have to push myself not to do it for her. But my son's bedding is dirty. He stinks from not bathing, and I had to admonish her for not taking care of him. Her friends wanted to take her to the Ren Fair that weekend for her birthday, and I'm amazed at how well she's doing. She asks if I may be with our kid for a few hours. I say yes because I want to spend time with him, but even I know I'm not ready. In any case, I agree. When I get home from work to fetch him up from his friend's house, 4 other lads step out and hop in my vehicle. It was apparently a sleepover. So she planned this sleepover for all the kids at my place for what? Spend more time with her friends. I messaged her and asked why did she plan this. It takes her 3 hours to return and she's irritated about it. She has the audacity to argue that she shouldn't have to feel terrible about spending her birthday with her friends. I tell her that she should feel terrible because she is the one cheating and should be ashamed because of all that is going on, that she took advantage of the situation and that it would never happen again. She then asks, "Am I just meant to be a mother?" I don't even respond to that, but I remind her, "You chose to be a mother when you got pregnant." We continue to converse and she even offers for us to stay together and sleep on the same bed. I tell her to save it for AP. My son seems to be depressed. I keep going to and from despite the fact that it's exhausting both my emotions and my bank account since I'm now staying 45 minutes away. Her parents only know what I've told them since she avoids them as well. I reach my previous house in the morning to take care of our kid, take him to school, and then I do what I do throughout his birthday week, starting with a tiny present and taking him out for lunch and dinner. My wife left when I entered. I'm ready to leave the house when I feel an itch within me. I'm not sure what triggered me, but I began probing her closet. I discovered a new shoebox and opened it to find a new vibrator. I had thrown out all our toys when I left, and she even saved the package with postmarks dated the day after I left, along with a gift message with the name on them. Then I saw a note inside the shoebox from a lady, but with the same surname as AP. When I open it, I see a snapshot of a family, 2 little boys, a baby, a dog, and a man and a lady. Along with it is a letter in which the woman informs my soon-to-be ex-wife that she has damaged her marriage and that she can keep AP because of the gifts he brought her. I snapped photographs and went directly to her parents to tell them what I had seen. I tell them that you daughter not only destroyed her family but also the family of her AP. Her father apologized and said, "Hire a lawyer, get your ducks in a row, and then file." That same day, I did. When the papers came a few days later, I delivered them to her and we sat on it for months. Eventually, I had to give her the house as settlement. She had the custody of my son and I had visitation rights. It broke my heart and I intend to keep all records of her cheating for my son to see when he is older. I also got to know that she has started dating her AP and they plan to move in together soon. Her parents have disowned her and removed her from all inheritance. I too have started dating and plan to move in with my new girlfriend. My son likes my girlfriend and loves spending time with her. I know the scars of this failed relation will take time to fade, but I know with time they will go away.